Yeah. Well, who have we got here today? Dr. Robyn Mills. And I just want to thank Robyn for taking the time out to interview the 1,000 people that are part of the 1,000 Ripple Effects project that Stacey Hausch has facilitated. And I feel very blessed to actually undertake this interview with you, Robyn. So without further ado, what makes Robyn Robyn?
Well, I feel like I'm a bit like a Sara Lee cake, Louise, and thank you for introducing me. Layer upon layer upon layer. You know, I started as a general nurse, then a psych nurse, then a naturopath, then a hypnotherapist, then a psychologist and ego state therapist. I just kept, layering different things. And at different times in my life, I would go, oh, this isn't working for me anymore. And I'd take some leap into a similar path, but not quite. So, um, who I am has been shaped by a multitude of different jobs and different places that I've worked and different people that I've met. Like at one point, I did some work where I was welcomed into some Aboriginal work, and that was another layer and changed me again. So along the way, the groups of people that I've met have really helped shape who I am, really. So when I think about who I am, I'm a bit multi-personality. I've got so many different hats that I used to juggle all at the same time. Yes.
Wow, the juggling of all the different hats. I love that. That's a beautiful snap shot into a snippet of who you are. So I guess curious about why did you become involved in the Ripple Effect project, and how did you become involved?
It was interesting because I belonged to another group where I met incredible people like Rosina McAlpine being one of those people, who's from Win-Win Parenting, who's become a really close friend. We call each other bestie. So I met Stacey through this other project, and then a few years later, maybe even a decade later, she said, I'm going to be doing 1,000 Ripple Effects, and what it is I'm going to get 1,000 people to write 1,000 words, and I'm going to give this to young people who are coming out of the system and who are going to feel lost. I'm going to give this as an inspiration to them. Well, of course, I always want my words, whether they're written in song, whichever way they are, to make a difference in the world. And in fact, for 35 years, my business name's been Making a Difference. So that's what I wanted to do. And I was really excited about writing something. And I don't know about everyone else, but I wrote two different ones. I couldn't decide which one I wanted to write. There was so much that I had to say. And then now that I've met the other authors, I'm really excited that I've stepped up, because it's incredible people from totally around the globe who are saying their truth that they would say to a young person. So I stepped up because I wanted to be heard, and I wanted to make a difference, and I wanted to be part of something that I think is going to touch many, many people around the world.
Mm. And can I ask you what was, you said there were two stories or two messages. Can I ask what were the two, what were the sort of the overarching themes, if you like? Yeah.
Yeah, so well, the one I ended up keeping was about, you about your energy can sometimes, when you're young like that, feel like it's a bucket, and when you're criticized, you can feel like there's holes in the bucket. You know that song, There's a Hole in the Bucket, dear Liza? So, someone might criticize you, and you might say, you might turn up to work, it's your first day, you're really enthusiastic, you can't wait to learn all these new things, and the first thing someone says to you is, you're late.
Mm.
And so you feel a bit deflated, so you get a hole in the bucket full of energy. And then, you might go to do a task, and someone goes, no, you're not allowed to do that task yet because you're new. And so these sort of things might happen to you throughout your first day. And by the end of the day, your bucket's empty and you go home and you're deflated and you're wondering why am I there? And so my suggestion is that we create these beautiful pathways for new employees, be they teenagers or be they adults. And, we help fill their bucket and help them feel immersed and loved in the culture so that they can make the difference that they're there to make. And my example was in nursing because, I was a nurse. So instead of being critical of the new people, trying to create a culture where everyone flourishes, a fertile ground for nurturing and nourishing new staff members. Isn't it funny? The other one's not coming to me.
Right.
That's weird, isn't it? It's just not coming.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's what in the end, that's what I stuck with, creating a nurturing environment. And that, when you go into an environment and it's a critical environment, it's actually not about you. It's about the people in the environment who are feeling whatever they're feeling that creates that critical state. And you can change the culture, but as a young person going into the culture, they have to learn that it's not about them, and you don't have to become like that culture to fit in. You can actually keep that beautiful sense of whoever you are and whatever you bring to the environment.
Wow, that can I just say that is such an important critical message, and containing, yeah, that energy, but that flourishing that you talk about and making a difference. And I'm
Yeah.
curious to, I guess, delve deeper into making a difference, and I guess part of that is why you do what you do, Robyn. So
Yeah.
can you elaborate on that, please?
So I started making a difference with a friend called Suzanne, and it was, in the 80s. And back then, alternative medicine was really new. And my friend's mother was really spiritual, and she used to bring through messages, just really beautiful spiritual. And I'd never ever met anyone that could do that before. And it just blew my mind. I'm like, it was a bit scary, to think that there's spirits out there or people that are talking. Or so she opened my eyes to that spiritual sort of intuitive world. And so we, in the end, we went off and did a personal growth seminar, because my new friend said I was a bit of a victim, and she really needed to help me in some way if we were going to be friends, because I was a bit hard to be around. So she took me off to a personal growth course, and it was called Stepping Out. And whenever emotions come up, back then I was a smoker, I'd just go outside and have a cigarette, come back in, having missed probably the most important parts of the seminar and having avoided having to talk about myself. But regardless, it did make a difference to who I was, and we decided to create a business where we could help other people to delve into, themselves and make a difference in the world and help people be happier. So we had chiropractors and reflexologists, and we ran seminars. We had Reiki seminars, and Reiki was really brand new back then. So we created a hub where people could come and learn, and where we could make a difference to their lives. So of course it made a difference to us, didn't it? Because whenever you're teaching something or part of something, it's you who gets the benefit. So it was a win-win. It was a win for them and a win for us. So here, all these years later, 30 whatever years later, must be nearly 40, I'm still making a difference. And that is in the core of who I am, is that I want to make a difference in this world. I want to help put smiles on people's faces, or give you a hug if you're feeling down, or just say something that might transform you and make a difference. Yeah, which is why I've created my heart mantra, so that I wanted it to go out into the world and send this heart vibration across the planet somehow.
Oh, that's yeah. Well, that brings my heart to attention, and I guess it was no coincidence we didn't plan this with the heart earrings that I've got on, and I honor that about you. And I guess wanting to delve around, what are the values that really drive you, and yeah, and inspire you to keep going and making a difference after all this time. Yeah.
I think I'm driven by it has to be fair.
Uh,
I I have a twin brother, and it always had to be fair. We had to have equal things. It had to be right, and he couldn't have more because he was a boy, and I couldn't have less because I was a girl. If he became a paper boy, I was going to be a paper boy. So I always had that fight and that justice, that feeling of justice, like it had to be right.
yeah.
And so I have that sense for other people. Like, I don't like to see it when it's unjust. And I know that's true about you too, that everyone in the world should have an equal opportunity to be who they want to be, and certainly to walk this life and to be happy walking this life. So if you can put your hand out and give someone some sort of a hand, if you can touch their heart in some way, just might be one word, it might be a hand on someone's shoulder, but it just might make the biggest difference. You don't have to have a PhD or a degree to make a difference to people. You only have to have a big heart and to be not judgmental. And of course, there's been many times in my life where I've been judgmental, but it's that layering, isn't it?
Mm.
The older, the wiser, the more people I've come in contact with in my life, then the gentler and softer that I've become. Plus grandchildren, you can't get away from that. They open your heart, they soften you. My children just think I spoil my grandchildren, but I do. It's great. I love it. I love being a grandmother, and I love not having that responsibility that a mother has, and just being able to be kind and loving. That's what I love. Yeah.
Mm, mm. And I guess, yeah, that's beautiful, and touching on, your grandchildren and your children, and thinking about, where did those values around fairness and justice, where do you think they came from in your upbringing? What kind of, like, who were the key people that really drove that home for you, you reckon?
Mhm. Well, being the youngest of six, my twin brother and I were the
Uh-huh.
babies of the family. And I guess, and we lived in quite a poor area in Geelong. Like, we often played at the tip, or, in those days, you'd kick the football across the road, you'd wait for the car to go, and then you kick it again. It was a whole different upbringing um, that we had then. And I guess that I could see that there were people that had stuff and people who didn't have stuff. And for me, I wanted everyone to be able to have it. I struggled to watch people who didn't have food or didn't have clothes or didn't have the right things. Like those adverts are on television now about children not having what they need at school. I lived through some of that. So it just brought about a compassion for all the people in the community. I would, and I certainly wasn't an angel. Like, I can remember putting rocks on the railway line and waiting for the trains to come and turn them into pretty pink powder. I was just mesmerized by that pink powder. And, so and we do cartwheels all the way home from school. I'd sing all the way around my paper round. There are moments when you look back and you go, yeah, that's what life was about back then. It was about the
Mm.
fun and the laughter and the joy. And I think we've become a little more technologically taken away from the heart, and it's time that we step back. And in COVID, we've had to step back. Even though we've increased technology, we've also found a deeper sense of how important family really is to those of us who just, perhaps those people who are really busy all the time, that we actually had to stop and be with family. And I think that's done us the world of good, really. What do you think, Louise?
Yeah, yeah, I totally, that inner reflection is about, I know for me, my key relationships, which are my family and my closest, dearest loved ones, and yeah, my community, my neighbors. You know, exactly what you're saying around the values that are important are around joy, and love, and compassion. And I'd have to say, I'm hearing a lot of freedom of expression and your unique expression of who you are, really being genuine, and yeah, justice. I know that's a big one. It's been time to really reflect on that. Yeah, I thank you for the question back to me as well, Robyn. And yeah, that does carry you through. And like I was thinking about, if there was one thing that you would love to be remembered for, you know, and the legacy that you want to leave on this planet, it might be more than one thing. What would that be?
I think that's what I'm hoping that my heart mantra does. That I think that when we're in a room, when we're with other people, wherever we are, that the vibration of the heart, that we leave a heart print. And, you know, when you leave a room, to have left something soft and gentle or funny, to have left heart, to left some part of your vibration of your heart behind. And in creating the heart mantra, that for me was leaving the vibration of song and heart together. So I had a vision of the heart being sung every morning at school in every language that it's possible. So if you had a Koori person in your group, then the song would be sung in their language. If you had Italian, Greek, whatever, so that the children in the classroom got to learn the heart song in every language that was possible in their class, so that the children really felt honoured that the song was about them and their culture as well, and that it would bring people together. That you started the day by saying, my open heart beats love for all the people in the world, and then you could do it multiculturally in every language. So that was my dream for the song, that it would go global and that children around the world would sing it. It's my legacy.
So I love it. I just love it. Are you able to give us a demonstration?
Sure.
Yeah.
My heart, my open heart, my open heart beats love for all the people in the world. My heart, my open heart, my open heart beats love for all the people in the world.
Oh, that was divine. That was something accessing the divine, and certainly opened up my heart.
I
Thank
just
you.
love
Thank
the
you. I know that put
vibration.
you on the spot.
No,
Yes.
no, I can sing that pretty easily on the spot.
Yeah.
I had it,
Yeah.
I entered into a competition and I was listed in the top 50 best ideas for humanity, with my idea of the song, but I hadn't actually created the song then. It was the idea of creating the song and taking it to school. And then I just simplified it into a
Wow.
mantra, really. Yeah, so I got in the top 50 best ideas for humanity. Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Yay.
And can I ask you, is it currently being sung in any of the schools?
No,
No.
no.
Wow.
Yeah,
Well, what are we going to do about that?
that's right. That's right. Well, contact a school. That would be smart, wouldn't it?
Perhaps, yes,
Yeah,
that could be a good start. So,
yeah.
yeah, well, we can have a talk about that after this session.
Yes.
So,
I'd love to
I,
hear it sung in an Aboriginal language. That would just be amazing, wouldn't it? In a dialect would be
yeah,
great.
yeah, yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. And I think that the whole intention around opening heart, because I think we're so stuck in here,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
mind, and
yeah,
where the mind takes us, and we haven't engaged enough, I believe,
yeah.
on the whole. I can't speak
Yes,
on behalf of everyone with the
yes,
heart and
yes.
spirit. Yeah, totally, totally.
And on my website,
So,
I
yes.
have someone singing it in Hindi, and it's
Oh,
just
wow.
beautiful in Hindi. Yeah. So
Yes.
I have a couple, and I have someone singing it in Serbian. Yeah. So
Oh,
yeah.
you
So
know, I have
yeah.
a beautiful Serbian friend that lives around you. So I think, yeah, I will
Right.
definitely
Yeah.
share that piece.
Yes.
She knows who she is.
Hello, Serbian
Yeah, I
friend.
won't. Yeah, yes, a beautiful, and rides a beautiful Harley Davidson. So yeah, that's so special that's coming through. So right, literally probably neighbors right here right now.
She's probably one of
So
those people that wakes me when I'm trying to sleep, going past in their Harleys.
yes.
Oh, that's so funny.
Bless, time to get up. That's it. That's
Yeah.
it. There's a bit of noise in the background here as well, but you won't be able to hear it. Sounds like some drilling going on. I don't know what that's all about, but yeah, it's
I
interesting.
can't hear it, so
So,
that's good.
oh, good. Okay, I can, but yeah. So, what's something that most people don't know about you, Robyn?
Oh, that's such a big question, isn't it? You want me to let out my secrets? Or um,
Only, like it isn't, you can cut this bit out.
no, there's nothing that I want to cut out. I guess in
No.
all the journeys and all the different jobs I've done, I was always trying to find my place in the world, trying to find myself, and my self-esteem was always low, and I was always a bit prickly. If someone was critical of me, I'd be prickly because I just had such low self-esteem that I always felt like I had to fight back. And it took me a long time to move out of that into a place where I just feel good about myself and I just love myself for who I am. So a lot of people would just see me as a really strong, confident, wise, perhaps,
Mm,
woman. Whereas really that was underpinned by anxiety and not feeling good enough for definitely for most of my life. And I think it's important for people to know that you can let go of those things, that's just a story that you tell yourself. How many years did I waste not feeling good enough, or thinking people were talking about me, or you know some absolutely ridiculous thing that I put the energy in and I created and I blew up out of all proportion.
mm,
And
mm,
so I guess that's the thing that people wouldn't expect about me. So now being um, an elder, I guess, in that age group,
mm,
that I'm just at peace with who I am. I love who I am.
mm.
I love what I can bring to the world. I love the difference I can make into my grandchildren's life. And I can laugh at myself. I do something silly, like the other day I got out of bed and I said, oh, I slept so much better between the farmers and the seatbelt. And we live in paddocks, so the farmers start at 3 o'clock in the
Right.
morning on the tractor, right? And David's going, seatbelt? And I'm going, yeah, seatbelt. And I couldn't find the word. It was the scariest thing. What I wanted to say was electric blanket, because I put the electric blanket on. But I actually was saying out aloud, I can't find the word. It's gone. And that was one of those really scary moments. But apart from start to take some vitamins, I laughed at myself. I was able to tell people and go, oh, this really happened. And everyone was laughing, which made it easier. So to be able to laugh at yourself even when you do silly things, I think that's really great, to go, really, did I do that? Did I say that? Sorry. That that's what makes life a lot more peaceful, not to take yourself quite so seriously, Louise.
Yes, totally. I love that. I mean, yeah, I reckon we've got that sense of humor because ultimately you can't actually laugh at yourself and laugh at what's going on around you and also have any anxiety or fear when you're in that state.
Yes.
And yeah, and the joke is, I know this might sound a bit out there, but we're all going to die. I mean, that's the thing. And what do we know really of this world anyway? I mean, it is a kind of a, maybe it's the Greek tragedy comedy kind of scenario that comes in, but that is so beautiful. And thank you for opening up, and sharing what is actually a very common theme as well, that
Yes.
whole thing around I'm not enough, self-esteem. I know I had that majority of my life. I don't think it's ever going to go away. There's kind of
Yeah.
questioning, but there's also humility in all of that and what you shared. So I really want to honor you for that, and thank you for agreeing to do the interview with me, and allowing me to interview you, given everything that you've given to everyone as part of the Thousand Ripple Effect project. And so yeah, and if people want to contact you, they can find you on your website. Is that correct? Is that the
Yeah.
best way? Yep. And yep.
www.drrobynmills.com. Yeah.
Excellent, excellent. So,
Thank you. That was really
thank you.
lovely. Thank you very much. That was a really beautiful interview and I enjoyed it. Bye for
Thank
now.
you. Bye.